All right, and welcome back to Tsaishen. This is Nev. In this video, we're going to talk about, all right, so what happens? We are in escrow, and as you can see, there's some changes from the previous videos. The escrow is now closed. It is actually unlocked, which, is fine. And we can go in and inspect the buyer deed. So once the seller actually uploads the deed, when you click on buyer deed, you will actually get some information. You will get who the seller, who the buyer is, what the sale price is, what is purchased with. As you can see, it is matching a lot of different things when it was uploaded. And of course, you're going to be able to see the deed itself. So this is an example test deed only. It's not the real thing, and it's actually just a mostly blank document, but it's just a way to showcase you what you're able to do, what the capabilities are. So you can go in, you can verify the deed, make sure that it's all correct, that it's all matching. You're going to make sure that right on this one, it doesn't give you information, but you're going to make sure that the address is correct, that the parcel number is correct, that your research of what you have actually found is going to match that of what you have done research of what is actually in this document. You're going to make sure that it's signed and notarized, which this is not because it's just a piece of paper, but you're going to verify all of those components. If you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust to doing this stuff, you of course can utilize an attorney if you decide to do that, to help you review things. But this is just one of those things for folks that maybe are fine with doing this stuff on their own. Now, if there's anything wrong with it, you're going to request a review. What that does, it basically extends the lock, right? And lets the seller know that there's some errors within it. I highly encourage you to utilize the Discord server to connect with the seller, of course, for seller to connect with the buyer so that you can go in and discuss and talk about different components within it. Now, one of the things that you're also going to realize is that once the seller uploads the deed, the escrow is closed and the refunds are no longer permitted. If you decide that, you know what, I don't want to go forward with this any longer, you can still cancel this particular component. Now, if you decide to do that, right, if you click cancel, MetaMask will show up, and as you can see, there's a penalty of 2 Ether that you have to pay. And of course, the seller can do the same. So both buyer and seller can cancel escrow if they want to, and the other party gets a portion of those proceeds. We're going to reject that because we're not going to do that. We're just going to basically say, right, if we go in and click on the confirm, MetaMask shows up. And the moment we click confirm right over here, what will happen is that the seller will receive the funds and the buyer will actually receive the tokenized property. And of course, you get the latest. I'm going to reject it for a moment. But you're going to get this deed. When you're going to do that is right here. You're going to click print. You're going to print this. You're going to take this to your local land registry or mail it to them. And sometimes they accept email, but a lot of times you'll have to mail it and to make sure that it's being recorded. So you definitely want to do that component with this stuff, and then you are basically done. So this is how quick and easy it is to use Tsaishen escrow video. Now, I'm not going to go forward with the confirm or request review because I think they're self-explanatory, and I also want to utilize this to showcase for the sellers of what does it actually look like if a buyer, for example, doesn't confirm. And I think for a buyer, it's important for you to do that. As a buyer, once the seller uploads the deed, you basically have 3 days to review the documents. If you don't review it and say you found an error, you have to click on request review, right? This extends the time lock. It gives the seller additional 3 days to upload the new document, right? I'm going to reject it, but you can confirm, and that's what ends up happening. And you know what? Well, let's actually do that so you can actually see it in action. And it goes through, right? And if I am to come back right over here, I can see that it's back to active now and that withdrawals are no longer permitted. It's still the same thing, but now I'm waiting for the buyer to actually upload the next one, right? So that's kind of how the whole process works. If they don't do anything within the 3 days, obviously you can just always cancel the whole deal, the whole shebang. All right, fair? Okay. So if they don't do it, you can also request a refund. So let's take a look. They don't do anything. The refund button shows up, so you can just get yourself a refund if they don't do what is supposed to be right. And of course, if you have any challenges, use the Discord server to connect with us, or to connect with the buyer or the seller for that moment.